Good evening. I am Cynthia Harrison, and this is the Intuitive Energy Medicine, Power Readings and Mystical Musings. So you can come on and ask your questions or have a bit of a discussion. We're here nearly every Monday at 6 p.m. Australian Western Standard Time. And there is an archive of the year's videos if you wanted to go back and have a look at some of the other interactions we've had. And hi, Jennifer. So yeah, we've got quite an archive now. So if you wanted to go back and have a look. Hi, Lee. And yeah, I have no idea where we're going today. Absolutely. Hi, Murray. Absolutely no idea. It's really hot here too, so I don't have aircon or a fan. Hola. So I'm just turning up. I'm very tired. You can probably see. I've been working hard. I've had lots of clients. And we've been going very deep and lots of amazing work happening. So, yeah, where are we going to go? All right, so I have my poetry, and I'll start with just seeing what shows up for us today, just to start and to get people to come on and get you to think about maybe what's coming up for you. If there's something in the past that we've talked about that you want some clarification on, what keeps showing up in your world that maybe, I may get a hit on, who knows? I really don't know what's going to come up or how it's going to come up. And I say that because some new ways of working continuously come in for me and have in the last week or so. So let's start by just seeing what's going to steer us tonight. So let's see. Okay. So be thirsty heart. Seek forever without a rest. Let this soundless longing hidden deep inside you be the source of every word you say. Be thirsty heart. That's so familiar. I think this page has come up before for us. Do you remember this, Murray? Is this familiar? Because I feel like that's come up before. Anyway, be thirsty heart. All right, so I'm just going to see if I can find myself on my phone. Does that resonate to any of you? Be thirsty heart. Seek forever without rest. Let this soundless longing hidden deep inside you be the source of every word you say. Let this soundless longing be the source of every word you say. Deep. All right, so I am just going to invite some people. What questions do you have? What queries do you have? What comes to mind, or what are you confused about? What don't you know what to ask about, right? Because that can sometimes tell us more about, because if you have the question, you have the answer. Hi, Kath. So sometimes when we are not sure of the question, that's almost I don't know, more exciting in a way to dig for, to excavate the inner landscapes, to be able to find maybe how you can develop the question or what your quandary is. Because sometimes we can't quite put it into a nice, neat little question. So if that's you, it doesn't need to be a nice little question. It can be a word, a symbol, an image, just something that's might get us closer to what's coming up for you. You know, don't be lineal about this. This is mystical. So I'm just going to share to my main page, and if you have no questions, then I mean, you can ask me stuff about my experiences if you want. If you want to know more about things that I see, feel, sense, know, if that's a way in for you, because sometimes you might feel a bit shy, then that's okay. So if you want to flip it around onto me, then we can do that. And as people warm up or things come to mind, then you might ask a question. Remember that when you're asking questions, you're asking them for many people, not just for yourself. So you can bet your life that there's more than one person that has that question. Yeah? Yeah. So I'm just going to share to a few groups. So how are you all anyway? Let's start there. How have you been this week? What have you done? What's shown up? How are you feeling in regards to, do you have family around? Are you on your own? Is this a time that's difficult for you? You don't need to say why. Is this a fun time for you? Do you love this time of year? You know, let's warm up rather than just jump straight in. We can warm up. So just, okay. It's interesting because it's very rare that I don't have anything. And maybe you are talking to me and I can't see it. Oh, look at this. Look at this. All these questions and comments. Sorry, I have not. I have to scroll. All right. The Spirit Quest. Woo. Okay. Cool. Laura. Unspoken expectations. Where's Laura? I can't see Laura. Okay, Laura's hidden away somewhere. I can't see Laura, so say hello, Laura. I'm not sure which Laura it is. Power generators, okay. Pain in lower right back this week. Interesting. I've seen that a little bit. Okay, so I can't see you if you don't say hello, and so it's fine if you just want to sit back and be incognito. Megan, hello. You're new to us. Welcome. So if you have a question or a pondering or a musing or those of you that don't know me, it might be a bit tricky. So what we do on Mondays, well, it changes depending on who shows up. So the energy of the people that show up, that's what runs this interaction. If you've got a particular difficulty that you would like to see whether the way that I scan and get information might be able to assist you, pop it in. If you don't, you can just share what you've been noticing in the world. So the patterns of behavior around you can also be a really good indication of the energies that are around us and how they impact our physiology and our energetics, and the behavior is almost like the symptom of that, or the language. So let me just get out of that so that I can see what's going on. All right. Oh, lots of people coming on. So I'm going to have my phone in my hand so I can scroll the questions, because on the laptop it's hard. So yeah, we've got lots coming in. Stephen, welcome. I was going to say good morning. Whew. Okay, so Murray's saying, I get pain in the mid-back near the kidneys. It suggests a change for someone you know or yourself. Well, yes, and depending what level of understanding that you're coming from, what perspective you're coming from. Remember, body reading has many levels, and depending on what perspective you are able to access will depend on what information you're getting. Yeah, so pains in the kidney are also a sign on your spiritual development or quest or your ascension. They're your life force energy. And often, so relating back to Kath's question around lower back too, so lower back you can read in regards to security, finances and things like that. That's on a base level. When we're looking at higher energies, there is a point in our development where we are actually we do get a lot of pain in our kidneys, and when that happened to me, it's really hot here and I don't have a fan, so excuse me while I cool myself. When we're raising in frequency, I'm just going to try and say it so that in a way that everybody can get it, and then we can go deeper if we need to. We're expanding and we're taking in more energy or more light or more frequency. So our physical body has to try to contain that or hold it. So hey Ellen, welcome. So when we are raising in that vibration, there is a point where our kidneys, and some of you that have been through it will know this, we get this kidney pain, and my teacher had it, which is why I was prepared for it. And then when I went through, I had it, and I was actually in Paris. Sounds all I was doing painting. What happened was I was painting in front. I was actually painting the Black Madonna. So I was in the cathedral, and I was there for many, many hours, right in front of her, and it was so much energy. And I didn't feel it at the time, but when I went to walk off, when I was with my friend, I felt that kidney energy. And it's a particular point in our development. And it was just before I had a massive heart awakening. So the people that are asking those, I'm aware of some of your trajectory on your path, and that sort of fits with you. Now, both myself and my teacher were unable to quench that pain. So sometimes we get aches and pains that are not necessarily to get rid of, but to understand, and they're like almost like place keepers on the map of where you're going. So Murray, that, from what I understand of your, so I'm not scanning anything, right? I'm just telling you knowledge, right? But now I'm sort of feeling into it going, okay, we've had a lot of heart things around for you. And the poem that came up, I mentioned your name straight after, right? So there's little hits like that. Now, going back to Kath, let me just scroll these questions because I'm Now, there's much more to that kidney stuff than I just said, but right here and now, because it's higher knowing. So we'll just see where we are. We've got lots of stuff coming in. So this one's slobbed out a bit today. So you relaxed and took care of yourself. Is that what you're saying, Lee? Slobbed out. Oh, love that. Lots of stretching and breathing. A bit achy. Now, okay, so I'm going to address that. The energies, hello, would love reading. When I get pain mid-back, near kidneys, it suggests a change for someone you know or yourself. Well, okay, so that's the same question again. Yes, it does. The change is that you're preparing energetically and building the life force to be able to propel you to your next stage. So I suppose in layman's terms, that's what you're saying. Now, Murray, if you need to through the week, just message me privately, all right? Just let me know how you're going. Okay, hello, would love a reading if possible. Okay, Sarah, I'm just reading your, okay. All right. So Kath's back stuff was a bit different. So lower right back. So Kath, I'm just seeing what's coming in. Kath, is that the same? It feels the same as previous, if that makes sense to, it won't make sense to anybody else, but it will make sense to you. Is that the same as before? Just let me know if it's a similar thing. So Lee's saying, loving the indulgence of time for myself. Yes. So it's not slobbing around, it's nurturing yourself. So changing language to so yeah, anyway, I feel like, yeah, Kath, yeah, it's the other side, yep. So, oh, so interesting that I had a lady. So often in my field, so what happens is I see things in my field, right? And then I come on here and then you come on and you're basically saying similar things that I've seen through the last few days. And it's like a repetition of an indication of we see things numerous times in our field. So we've got many questions coming in and I'm being dragged around to lots of different areas. So I just need to consolidate because I do go off in many directions and I can see lots of questions coming in. So bear with me. Let's get to one first and see where we can link into some of the other questions. The left side is the female, the mother. I call it the mother, the blue ray. Now there's particularly different understandings, but in my lineage, my tradition, that's what it is. So the magnetic, the left, right? The water. The energy comes through there first. It comes up the left and then it'll go down, transforming, transducing, transceiving through the right. So often that's how the kidneys can go as well. I feel your pain is different to Murray's. but it links to that higher energy coming in. Now, link it back to what I was going to say before. So I'm really just looking at all these lines of information and how they come in and who they belong to. Okay, so I hear the sounds, I hear frequency, I hear what the earth's doing, and you know, information comes through on the harmonics. So I hear these. On and off over the last week, we have had enormous influxes of energy. Now, I'm just going to call it energy because the different tones are different energies. So what that means, though, so this is all you need to know, really, is what that means is when we have a raise in the amplitude, so to speak, our physical system is impacted where we hold what we haven't, put it this way, the shadow or the imprint of what's left behind. So you might have done your work on, hi Lois, long time no see, welcome. And Azra, yep, I'll get to you in a moment. Welcome. So when these energies come in or go out, so they're fluctuating, you might know them as Schumann resonance. The Earth's resonance is around 8 hertz, right? 7.83 hertz is a Schumann resonance, but it's around 8. And it fluctuates up and down all the time. But when that's happening, it impacts our brain waves, because our brain waves run in hertz as well. So alpha waves are a particular frequency, you know, theta waves, so gamma is the highest. And when we get above 30 hertz, which we are all the time now, what happens is, for somebody like me, and some of you that I know, gamma is a high frequency that in a spiritual development is when we're bombarded with a lot of information. So when I'm scanning, that's where I'm at these gamma. So I'm getting lots of images, lots of tones, lots of sounds, lots of feeling. Actually, I haven't had any feeling in my body. Sometimes I'll feel whoever, actually, speaking of that, I just got a pain in the back of my head. Megan, okay. I am feeling your pain. It's in the back of my head. So this is where that high frequency allows you to receive so much, but it's really fast. So when you're first going into those higher frequencies, right? So bear with me, because I'm trying to tell you complexities of things very simply, and sometimes it doesn't quite translate. So welcome, Tammy. Oh, got two Tammys, Tammy with a Y and Tammy with an I. Welcome, both of you. And good morning. So you must be overseas because it's evening here. So welcome. Okay, where was I? And April, welcome. So gamma is roughly, don't quote me on these numbers, but roughly like 30 hertz, 36 hertz and above, right? So a lot of these frequencies are well above that, which if you aren't raising and opening and building your energetic body, right? If you're not doing your work and you know, whether you're on that spiritual path or not, everything is spiritual. There's no separation, but some of us, to discuss, we need to categorize some things so that we can, have a conversation about it. But the point I'm making is, as that's raising and lowering, so it's like the pulse of the earth, right? It's the energies that are around the earth, and what's outside in the, the planetary shifts and whatnot impact us and the sun, right? This isn't all woo-woo. This is science, right? So you can go on a NASA website, look it up. You can go on spaceweather.com, look it up. There's lots of places that this isn't new information. It's been around forever. I think it was actually Professor Schumann. Okay, I'm feeling somebody. All right, so I'm starting to feel now. All right, we're getting lots of energy on now, all right? So our body, our physical body will feel where we're having issues as that frequency raises in its breath out, or as it's coming back in. And I know this not just because of the science. I know it because I see it in the field. So when I say see it in the field, my clients, my students, my family, I see patterns in behavior. You see the change in behavior. You will see the change in behavior. So people will be getting headaches, aches and pains, sleep difficulties, influxes of feelings like anxiety, like the list goes on and on, okay? But the main ones are pressure in the head, lots of different types of headaches. Sometimes it's a crown pressure. Depends where you are on your trajectory of your ascension process, or your spiritual development, or your physical development, right? Where are you at? How much have you to still move through from the past? You might say I've done my work, but you have done your work at a particular level, right? And then you raise up, level up, so to speak, and then you need to look at it at that level, and that keeps happening. So as the earth's breathing and these resonances, or these frequencies are pulsing, and the pulse is going further out, so to speak, or higher, and then coming back, higher, coming back. So going from alpha, or even below 7 hertz, and then way back out again. It's like our brain waves change, and how it impacts our nervous system. So on a physical level, it impacts our nervous system and creates the stress response. Okay, so some of us will be feeling and having outbursts, or if you've done your work, you'll feel joy, right? You'll feel joy. You can feel ananda, which is like bliss, right? But if you still got some stuff going on, no judgment, because most people have, then you may feel where that needs to move through. Okay, does that make sense? So that was for pretty much everybody, not just for one person. Sometimes things come up that are for lots of people. So welcome everybody. We've got lots of people on today. Woohoo! And lots of new people. So let me know where you found me, because there's lots of new names here. Welcome. Let me just say, all right. So I've got this weird feeling in my head. I'm trying to just work out who that is. Okay. Tammy. Ooh, Tammy with an I. Tammy with an I. So if you're still there, Tammy. Hello from Phoenix. Yay. I'll be there in January. And Nadina. I'm not sure how to say your name. Nadina. Is it a silent E? Nadina? Welcome. 3 a.m. there. Ooh, early morning. So lots of people from overseas. Tons. from New Zealand. Yay. Diane. Great. April. Elizabeth. Okay. So Tammy with an I. Get a lot of on Facebook. I'm Dina. Okay, Dina. You popped up on my feed on Facebook. Tammy. Okay. Okay, so I feel you in my body. So those of you that don't know me, I have lots of different ways of getting energy, and I never know which way it's going to come in. I've actually got something in my eye at the moment, so but that could be okay. So it's gone now. So I mean, that could be okay. I said Tammy. I felt her in my head. I felt this pressure in my head, almost like a dizziness. So what's going on with you? So, okay, so those of you that are new, what I do, so I need your permission because I'm really strict on going into other people's fields. But if you've asked a question, it sort of gives me permission. But because this is public, I have to be aware of that and not give too much away that is going to be, you know, we just want to be considerate of each other, yeah? So welcome all of you. Melbourne, okay, Melbourne, New Zealand, yay. Arizona, great. So, interesting that Tammy with a Y is coming up for me as well. So both Tammys. So maybe this is a cross-reference, so bear with me. Sometimes that happens. I'm going to scan Tammy with an I, okay? So what that means is I'm reading the energy. I'm not getting information from spirit as such, but if it comes in, I'll allow it. But we're starting with the physical, okay? And I feel you in my body, even as I'm speaking. It's in my head again, and through here. So I haven't even scanned anything yet. So, but I'm what's called kinesthetic or empath. So I feel it in my body. I actually feel like I want to throw up, right? But it's okay. So what does that mean? Let's look at how we can see. So I'm just going to be asking, like, in this short little power read, how I can best assist Tammy in what's going on for her, right? Now Megan keeps coming to me too with the headache. So let's just do Tammy first though. So I don't even know if Tammy's still there, but it doesn't even matter. Okay. So right. Lots of pressure in my head again, right? So it's not necessarily emotional. Now everything sort of goes back to, in some way, frequencies, you know, of that could be related to emotion. But for you, what? Okay, pain in the head. So, let me just ask. Right, so I've got different information coming in, so I've just got to track it. So that's the energy tracking. So bear with me, because once we get a hit more in line, then I can give something that's going to be helpful. Otherwise, it's just all, you know, it's not helpful, right? So yeah, earthing, polarity. So for Tammy with an I, and I'm saying that because there's Tammy with a Y here. Okay, so this relates to, I'm going to start here. Now, there may be more, but this is where we're going first, right? I've talked about this in past calls, so you might want to go back in the archives and look for something around earthing. And I call it earthing, not grounding, because I talk about the magnetics of, you know, the human body in relation to the earth and how we propel from it or we connect with it. When we are connecting well with the earth, we become part of the energy field of the earth, and it assists us in every way. When we are pushing away, like, you know, the flip of the magnet, you know, when you get so the bottom of the feet are south and the earth is north, and it will go whoop, and you are just part of the energy flows, and that feeds you and you feed it. The body is the bridge. I think I talked about this last week or the week before. Now, for Tammy with an I, it seems that your polarity is out. Now, there's numerous ways it can be out, so I'm going to scan that in a moment, but I just want to explain this first. Also, the bottom of the feet could be out. So what part of your polarity is not in sync with the earth? Sorry, my things just come up to tell me to install something. That is preventing you from getting the amount of life force energy, right, through your kidney meridian and through your earth vortex. So there's a vortex that goes from the earth up to us and ends about here, and then the heaven vortex is from, right? So we've got heaven and earth. And when those are flowing, you have vitality and health and wellness. When they're not, you get lethargy, tiredness, inflammation, all sorts of things. That's my first hit for you. Because when I started to talk about you, and I have a pain in my ear now, so pardon me. Okay, so it's interesting. Some people, I hear their information, but you, I'm feeling it in my body. So yes, if that continues, people do get ill. This is happening with so many people, you would not, even myself. And the reason why, so I will scan and sort what's going out for you in a moment. I just need to tell you this and others, because you can all be doing this, right? As the earth is trying to find her new way of being, so we're having these shifts in the magnetics, the pole shifts, which means the earth's magnetics are adjusting. So some of you have heard me talk about this before, because this is so important. I repeat it because it's showing up with most people, even practitioners, even myself. I'm checking mine all the time, and I'm just dancing with the earth. So when my polarity is fine, but the earth is doing its dance, then it's almost like we have to dance with her until she finds her space, her way. So then we can hook into her and be part of it, so to speak. So what we do is so Tammy, I'm going to just test your polarity at your head. Okay, so polarity at your head is strong, which means south. Okay, it's not south-north. So what you can do to sort that, so if you're there, I don't know if you're there, let me just see if you've messaged, because I've been too busy in the energy. Oh yeah, so you're saying you're here. So all of you, not just Tammy, can do this. Well, welcome, Courtney. I just saw your name. You're new here too, I think. Okay. I'm tired all the time. Yeah. So this is the first part of what will assist you. And Anna. Hi, Anna. This will assist you. Now, some of the things that I'm going to share with you may seem bizarre, but this is about the magnetics, the electromagnetics of your body, but this is about the pole of your body, right? So we're testing the magnetics of your body and how you're linking into the earth, right? Every point and every part has a polarity, right? Your head at the top is strong, right? And generally it's strong, weak. So positive, negative, or south, north, right? So what you're going to do is you can see my hand, south, north. I'm using the polarity of my hand, the magnetics of my hand to move energy. You can do that too. I will do it for you, but all of you can do it because you don't need to test the energy. You can just do it, okay? You can just do it. A lot of what I share because I want to empower you. Hence, energy medicine power readings. I'm giving you the power so that you can empower yourself and your family and the people around you, right? So that's the difference between what I do and we'll leave it at that. So my intention is on Tammy with an I, and I'm literally moving her energy, right? But for all the rest of you, you could be doing that over your own head. And some of you will feel it. Okay, so I'm reading. So Elizabeth's got a few. Oh, there's a few different. Okay, a few different on there. All right, so when I do this for Tammy with an I feel it in my feet, giving me the indication that we need to look at the polarity of your feet as well, because just doing the top often will show up something going on with the feet, which is where you connect in, yeah? Okay, so for Tammy with an I, and I'm doing that because my intention has to be on the right person, otherwise I'd be scanning another Tammy with a Y maybe. So Tammy with an I. And okay, so I'm feeling pressure in my head, yeah. Now, yeah, let me know if you've got some pressure in your head. So I'm just going to do some testing now. Let me just scan this for Tammy, okay? So I'm going to do your left foot first, okay? All right. Okay, so the general polarity of your feet is okay, but I've got other bits I need to test. Okay, so, oh, yeah, okay. So something else has come up. All right. Tammy, what I want you to do, if you choose to, on the bottom of your feet, or all our feet, just under the ball of the foot, you've got the kidney 1 point, which is where it's our life force energy. It's the kidney meridian that runs all the way up to here. And it's part of how we suck that earth vortex up and it meets the heaven vortex, but it moves through us and it gives us vitality. Now, your points at the bottom of your feet are frozen, what's called frozen. So there's not enough flow to keep you in that full vitality, hence no wonder you're tired, okay? You can, so everything that I'm sharing with you is sort of like energy first aid. Bear in mind that there's deeper and more profound things that we can do, but these are still power filled. So what you could do for your feet, all of you could do it. It doesn't hurt. So you can all do it if you feel that this might be something that you need. You literally are just taking your hand. This is your foot. And you're going to go the back of your hand front of your hand, back of your hand, front of your hand. Just do it a few times, okay? Because that point, the point has a frozen polarity, right? So it's not moving, because we need the polarization, you know, of the opposites for flow. So that's why I was feeling it in my feet when I was doing your head, okay? So can you do that? The other thing is, what will help you, bizarre as it shall be, but all of my clients and students will do this. Donna Eden does it. I learned it from Donna Eden. If you don't know who she is, then look her up, because she's a master practitioner of energy medicine and wrote the book Energy Medicine, and is an absolutely amazing woman. Take a stainless steel spoon. I carry a spoon in my bag. Everybody I know, I tell to do this, because we can test how it works. I mean, there's lots more to it, but the gist of it is the stainless steel on the skin interacts with the nervous system in a particular way that assists, but it's also the metal, because we're working with magnetics and the polarity. So it's almost like, so Tammy's saying, I do grounding to help with my empath feelings. Yes, Tammy with an I. However, grounding is going to do diddly squat for you, because these points are frozen. You cannot pull up through that frozen point. And that's probably why. I get very passionate about this, because I work with, and my clients are practitioners, like of all different modalities and whatnot. And I'm seeing this over and over again because of where we're at in this time for our earth, and the energies of our environment and how they're impacting us. And our body, our nervous system reacts to that. And how it reacts is it starts to give us irregular energies, which is what's happening with the points of the feet. It's irregular, which means you can do all sorts of energy work and sound work and all sorts of stuff. But until you've corrected the irregularities, you're not going to have the holding of that success of that work. Not just you, anybody, even me. I had a client today. We did all these, what my intuition was saying, no, this isn't right. And I stopped and checked for a particular irregularity, and she had that one, and it meant that I could have spent an hour doing all this wonderful stuff, but it wouldn't have held because of that particular irregularity. The irregularities need to be sorted first. Now, if you do this, Tammy, with an I, if you spoon your feet with a stainless steel spoon, after you've done that, you have to fix the irregular energy in that point first on both of your feet. Kidney 1. So just with your intention, you could Google it and look it up if you want to, but really just your intention of the ball, just under the ball of the feet, running your fingers forwards and backwards. So because we're using the south and the north of the hand. Does that make sense? Is it clear? Okay, do that 2 or 3 times, then spoon the feet, right? I'm telling you, if you grab a spoon now and just do it, it feels amazing. If it feels amazing, you need it, right? Before I do these calls, I always spoon my feet. Before I see a client, I am spooning my feet. I am grounding, I'm getting my energies as best they can be, because in every moment, the environment impacts us. Now, I'm a very high energy worker, right? I know many modalities, but I also see, feel, sense, know, smell, taste, right? I'm a seer, okay? But I still do all of this. You know, if I'm going to be working with people, I need to make sure that I'm on, right? So I hope that helps, and I'm getting very passionate, but it's because you won't know yourself. If you do that and then do your normal grounding, whatever that might be, it might be going to the beach, walking, you know, in nature, take your shoes off. But I've done research on this, and some of my clients, a couple of them are on here, they say they walk, they do all this other work, and then they come in and I test them and it's all out. Why? Because of what I just shared with you. It's priceless, I'm telling you. It's freaking priceless. So anyway, I hope you got the message. Okay, so I'm just feeling. So I think we'll leave it there for Tammy. We'll see what else is going on. But let me know, just message me, let me know if that helps you at all. But I know it will. I know it will. So that's why I call it earthing, not grounding, because it's so much more. It's so much more. Now, also, I want to let you know that I have clients that have the grounding pads and sleep on those pads and whatnot, and they're still having these issues. So there are really bizarre things happening in the world at the moment, okay? And these are impacting us in such a different way that I've not seen to this extent in 20 years, right? I've been, working with people for a long time. And when I see these patterns of behavior and these patterns in our energies, and I see it all the time, I'm like, whoa, okay, what's happening with the earth? What am I hearing? What am I seeing? All of this. This is a new way forward. Now, it doesn't have to be all like spiritual, like bring it to the science. Go and look at the science of what's going on with the energies of the earth. It's there, right? Now that has to impact us because we're living on her, right? So I'll leave that part at that. Let me look and see what else is going on. And you're most welcome, Tammy. Thank you for showing up, because if you hadn't shown up, then I wouldn't have been able to share that for other people. And I feel like it's just so important. I just, if we are all trying to do that dance with the earth, but because she's unsure of her steps right now, we can't possibly go, oh, we're grounded, so we're right. Well, we're right for that day. Oh, thank you for all the love. Which reminds me, if this is helpful, share with your friends or your networks or whatever. Yeah, and we're here every Monday, so pop in, or nearly every Monday. I wasn't here last week, so I apologise for that, but nearly every Monday we're here. Okay, so let me just... Okay, so Sandra is saying that grounding can be difficult for her. So if you heard what I said for Tammy, do that as well, because your polarity might be out in a different way, but it's the same correction. Does that make sense? So spooning the feet, and it feels good. Feels good too. Oh, so Courtney works in disabilities, and this is so helpful. Thank you. You know what? I was talking to somebody who works with the elderly about this, and I can't tell you how. I just feel an urgency for these sorts of things to be checked, because the other thing is that, there can be particular energies that are out or stagnant or frozen in those ways, and you're having medication, or you're giving medication, or you're taking medication, and because those energies aren't functioning as vitally as they could, the medication's not working as well as it could, right? So it's such a waste of money. It's like throwing your medication down the toilet. It's like your, what do you call it, your vitamins as well. Because if your spleen meridian, which is the metabolizer of what we consume, is low in energy, and that's because of, you know, many things, but stress, the stress response, right? The stress response pulls from the spleen meridian, which is our metabolizer of what we ingest, but also how we metabolize our environment. So, pardon me. So I'm feeling somebody's energy right now. I'm not sure whose it is yet. So there's all these things that we can actually help those that are really struggling even more than, you know, the average person. So those with disabilities, for instance, or with you know, chronic disease. There are so many things. I don't know if any of you are working with people with, or have, if any of you have chronic disease. Okay, that's an interesting question. So Tammy, you're asking, is that why your gifts aren't coming through all the way? I'm assuming you mean your ways of knowing. And for all of you, I'm about practice. So I'm like a practical mystic. It's not magic. You have to do the work. And those of you that know me, I am constantly practicing in practice because I want mastery. And this is what I do. This is my work. Okay, so I help people evolve their systems energetically and physically, right? Practice viewing, practice feeling, practice hearing, listening. Practice, when I say viewing, you can view with your eyes open or closed. So these are, I mean, what I'm feeling, Tammy's saying, my gifts aren't coming through. Well, my gift as a guitar player isn't coming through because I don't practice. Okay. My gift as a piano player isn't coming through because I don't practice. My gift as a mystic are coming through because I practice in every single moment. Right? I don't have an hour here, an hour there. In every moment, when I'm sitting here with you, I'm speaking to you, I'm aware and I'm listening. And some of the things that come through may not have ever come through that way before. So then I'm going, what's that about, right? It's practice. I just realized I'm getting very dark. It's starting to get dark, but that light's not strong enough. So practice. If you want to know more about how, maybe we could talk about that next week. Or any of you that want a session, just private message me. So, you know, I've got 30-minute sessions, or if you want a full session, and you can pay them off if you don't have money. If you completely broke, you can ask here, or on Sundays I also do Sunday mornings, Perth time. The Mystic Medicine Woman is on, so I usually do teaching, so it's different to this. It's more about sharing. So next Sunday it's a bit more fluid because we're coming to the end of the year. I think we're talking about transitions and death and dying and the soul and amazing things like that. So anyway, there are different ways that you can access if you want to know more but you don't have the funds. Yeah, or you can just message me, and if it's something straightforward, I can let you know. But if it's more in depth, then okay. So I'm just going through my phone of the all the questions. So Sandra said she does the 5-minute routine. Great. Issues of my empathy abilities versus the depression and anxiety I feel. Okay. Oh, thanks, Diane. Saying sessions are worth having. You'll be happy with the results. Thank you. So I'm assuming that you're happy with your results. Okay, so I saw something here that caught my eye. I'm just trying to find it again. Okay, and this one's caught my eye too. So many, it's like Christmas. Oh, what? It is Christmas. All right. So many questions. So Aditi, I have chronic disease and I have been told I have holes and leaks in my aura. Okay, we're going to hold that, but I found Elizabeth's was, I have issues of my empathy abilities versus the depression and anxiety I feel. Funnily enough, they're connected. So I'm going to grab those two. I wish I had a pen and paper to keep me focused, because sometimes I go off and I don't know where I am, right? So I feel my head. All right, so I'm going to do general, and then I'm just going to grab a pen and paper. I'm going to write this down because I want to test both of you. And I lose myself when I go into energy, right? So I want to be able to come back and all right, so bear with me. So anxiety, depression. So I'm sure that these questions will cover a lot of other people's questions. That's what I love. So I appreciate you asking them, because you're actually helping a lot of other people by doing it, because a lot of the things that we do for them, everybody else can do too, right? I don't need to test them as such. That's the beauty of this type of energy work, right? You don't need to test it all. I can test it, but you can just do the exercises as part of your routine, right? So, so anxiety and depression always are in the field before they hit the physical body, yeah? Hence the aura, right? So that's why it links to Aditi, because that's about holes and leaks in the aura, which, yes. So holes and leaks in the aura, I did a call on that not long ago. So you could go back and look into that, but I'll go over it again quickly. Let me see. Now, chronic disease also, so let's start with chronic disease, because there's probably a lot of you, so or something that's been chronic, right? Something that won't clear up. There are energies that need to cross over in the body, and when they're not crossing over, you have illness. Okay, the energies aren't crossing. So it's called homolateral. For those of you that know, Donna Eden talks about homolateral energy, where the energy is running up and down rather than crossing over. And these spirals that we were talking about earlier with Tammy, these vortices, when they link and they cross and our other energies link in, it's like this toroidal spin, and the energies are crossing and create that microcosmic orbit they call in Chinese medicine, yeah? So we need the crossing over. An easy way to do that, so I'll just show you now, all of you can do it if you want. You're crossing over from your shoulder to the opposite hip, right? So this is a really easy one, but if you're having chronic health, you're going to probably need the cross crawl, it's called, but I can't necessarily do that. Or actually I could. So this is for Aditi, right? Because she's mentioned chronic health, which needs chronic help. So what you're going to do is you're going to cross over from So this is like kinesiology, or where the contralateral crossing over the brain. We need all of these crossovers happening. So what you're doing is just taking the opposite hand to the opposite knee, right? And you're crossing over. I know you can't see, but just from my, okay? So you do that 12 times. And you can do it standing up, but if you're really out, standing up is going to be a bit more difficult. So you can sit down, or you can even lie in bed and do it. Pardon me, you're crossing over. If you've got chronic health of any description, I would be doing these crossovers. It's called the cross crawl, right? If you just feel like if you're walking and banging into the door frames and you're not judging, you know, and things like that, you might be able to get away with just crossing over the body. But I still do that one every now and then when I, you know, it's creating new habits of behavior, creating new habits for energy, right? So the stronger it is in these new habits, it's less likely to go out so quickly, right? So anybody with anything that's you're struggling to get on top of, do those crossing overs. You could do it to music, right? You can, however feels great, just do it. All right, so that's that, but we're getting on to what was leaks and holes in the aura. Okay. Just working out whether I scan it or I'll get you to scan it. So basically, to find a leak or tear, you can test, but I feel it. So the aura, or the biofield, I often call it. So if you see me talking or writing about the biofield, it's the same thing. It's the field, your field of energy, and what makes that up. When we have an injury, if we've had an operation, anything like that, there's usually a hole in the aura, or if not a hole, a fray. I look at the aura as like this material, and sometimes it gets threadbare, you know, like, you know, cotton, you can sort of see through it. It just gets a little threadbare and thin. So what we do is we feel. So I'm just going to scan. There's probably a few. If I knew where her chronic illness was, then that would make it easier. But let me just scan. Sorry. Okay. I've got a pain in my head, so that's not where I'm scanning, but that's what my intuition's saying. Like, there's stuff that's happened in the head, but I'm just sort of seeing what's the priority for her. Because if you think about what I said, there will be a leak, a hole, a tear, you know, frayed access ways in that aura where you've had an injury, an illness. Now that's going back to infancy. So who hasn't ever fallen over or hurt themselves or had an illness or injury, right? We all have, numerous of them. So they're going to be everywhere. But what are the priority ones? And when I was scanning, I got a pain in my head. Okay, so I'm just gonna, and I don't know whether I mirror image. Sometimes I mirror image people. So let me just scan her head. So if she's looking at me, we're going to do her left side. Yeah. Okay. So if you had, it's probably going to be too hard to actually ask you because there's so many questions. That's interesting. Have you, you don't necessarily have to answer this. I'm picking up the head, right? So I'm going to work that. Oh, interesting, because okay, I've just made another relationship with the spleen for that. So bear with me. I'm going to sort that out. You know how I was talking about the spleen before? Well, the pancreas and spleen are sort of pretty close, right? So I would be working your spleen energy. Okay. All right. So Aditi said, yeah, I've got a lot of pain here. So when I say, okay, we're going to have lots of things, but the priority that's come up is the pain in the head, and she's just told me that there's a brain injury, right? Okay. So, oh, okay. So now I feel sick in the stomach. So now I'm feeling you too. Sometimes, some people I feel like I'll actually feel what's going on. Injury. Okay. Limbic system in the brain. Yeah. Okay. That's stress. All right. Not brain injury. I had a long headache on the left side of the head. Okay. So Elizabeth. All right. Let's keep you separate for a moment, because that might be you. But priority is, so limbic system is more inside. Your limbic system is your fight, flight, freeze response, or where the fire alarm gets set off for your stress response. I got to go on my body. I feel sick. I feel it all up my center. I feel sick. All right. So how do we assist you? Let me just scan. I'm going to do one at a time because there's too much information coming in. So there was now that's past. We need to sort that head, whatever that might have been for Aditi. Okay. So there is a class where it's in the archive somewhere, and I taught you how to do this, but I just knit them together. Right. So as I'm doing this, I'm going to explain to you what I was talking about, because you're using different words than what I would use, but it's the same thing. The stress response, triple warmer is the meridian that governs the stress response, okay? The first place that it pulls extra energy from to keep you safe, to keep you in the pattern of behavior that you feel most safe, not necessarily functional, it could be a dysfunctional one, is spleen. So spleen and pancreas energies are there, right? Spleen. We need some strengthening for spleen. Okay, let me just see. Actually, what we're going to do for you, so there's numerous ways to do this. I'm getting something in my throat now. Okay. And I'm really, really hot. So there's like this energy which is an indication of triple warmer, right? Which is where I'm going now. So rather than me working spleen, I want you to calm triple warmer, which is, we can all do it together. So most people, their triple warmer meridian is on too much because it's the meridian or the energy that is that governs that fight, flight, freeze. So in our nervous system response, we have this energy that oversees the endocrine system. So I call it triple warmer. And it is like our soldier. I see it's like this soldier, and it mine has a sword, right? I just have these ways, these metaphors of being able to interact with them. And mine has this sword. And when we're in a lot of stress, that triple warmer meridian is on and guarding us and won't let anything in, good or bad. It just won't let anything in. Hence, when you get a lot of different energy work or even other types of work, you might feel okay for a little while, but it doesn't hold, because triple warmer governs your habits, and it wants to keep you safe. So it's trying to keep everything as it is, even if it's harmful for you, because it's just saying, so to speak, because it's an energy, it's just going, all right, there's a risk, or the alarm's gone off, batten down the hatches, I have my sword and I'm guarding you, and I'm guarding you so well. So we have to say, thank you, triple warmer, right, for keeping you safe. However, it's time to have a rest. So we need to sedate or calm triple warmer so it can put down its sword where there's no threat. And then when there's threat, it has the energy it needs without pulling from every other system to fight for you. Make sense? I know that was a lot, but sometimes if we have these little stories, we can then remember things. So that's how I see it. I did a teaching on it, and triple warmer was like King Arthur, and its opposite was Guinevere. So it was like this love affair, but they have to balance and support each other and not one overpower the other. So that's the relationship of spleen and triple warmer. So that's how my intuition and my knowings come in to tell me how to give you something that will be helpful. So what we're going to do is take our fingers. Now, triple warmer ends at the temples. So we're going to draw it backwards. We're going to trace it backwards because our hands are electromagnetic, and by moving energy with our hands, we are literally moving energy, right? So we're going to take a deep breath in and out. And then on the next one, we're going to trace it around the back of our ears, come down to our shoulders, and take a breath. Okay. Now you can, squash or massage in there and then flick it off, right? So you can come around the ears, come down to the shoulders, and tell it to get off and walk, right? Then, so that's the triple warmer smoothie, but I'm going to give you an extra because this is what I do. Then you cross your arms and you squeeze down your arms. Okay. What this does, numerous things it does, but in relation to the nervous system, when we squeeze our large muscles, it calms us. So we're not only tracing the meridian backwards to take the energy out of the triple warmer meridian, and it runs down the arm and off the ring finger. So we're tracing it backwards, right? But we're also coming down the arms, and that is more of a sensory motor or somatic technique to kick in the parasympathetic, right? To bring the system down, and so do that. And most people feel that. It's like that just feels good, right? So what that does is calm triple warmer so that it's okay for a little while, right? But if you do that regularly, then you're just telling triple warmer to, you know, weapons down. We don't. There's no. We're all right. The traffic jam doesn't need, you know, a big sword, right? We're just in a traffic jam, but the traffic jam might create the stress response. Do you see what I'm saying? So all these stressors in your world are creating this attack response, and your body is then flooded with all of the chemicals, right, to give you to punch, to kick, to bite, to fight. But you don't need to fight another car. You don't need to fight the fluoro lights. You don't need to fight the weather, you know, if it makes you hot or cold. You don't need to fight somebody that just ticked you off the wrong way, right? So we're evolving our systems so that they're more in tune with our really hectic lives now, because our energies haven't evolved with the technology that we have. Okay, so I hope that, I'm just going to check the questions. Now it's interesting that that's where triple warmer is too. So there you go. If you yawn, yes. Sometimes you might, so actually I'll read it out to you because you might not be able to. So it says, I literally started to yawn after doing the triple warmer. Yes. Okay. If you are going to bed after 11 p.m., so every meridian has a time, and triple warmer is, you know, if you're not going to bed before 11 p.m., triple warmer will come in and give you a burst of adrenaline, and then we feel like we've got a second wind, or like, oh, we can stay up. But we're really, it's not your true level of energy. It's a burst of adrenaline that triple warmer's done because you're still awake and you should be asleep, right? So it's the system going into stress again. Okay, so if you're going to stay up after 11 p.m., do the triple warmer, right? Calm it, because you're bursting, you're giving yourself a hit of adrenaline just before you go to bed. So then you have trouble sleeping, okay? So I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, you know, write in there, and I mean, there's lots of different questions, so I'll go back and see what ones I can pick up later, but hopefully that. So Aditi's saying, it all makes sense as my systems to just be fighting multiple chemical and sensitivities and food allergies. Okay. Yeah, aura health, okay? If you've got a lot of sensitivities, does a triple warmer help to protect from the unwanted energies? No, but in saying that, so Elizabeth asked, does triple warmer protect from unwanted energies? No, not necessarily. It's more in relation to the endocrine system. So both Elizabeth and Aditi is sort of tag teaming each other with their questions here. What will help you? So what will help both of you, all of you actually, is your aura health. If you've got a lot of sensitivities, there's so much we can do, right? Really simple things. If you suffer from sensitivities, rather than scanning all of you and all the rest of it, because there's too many of you today, like I said, if you want an individual reading or whatever, contact me. But for now, we're going to do group things, okay? And I'll pick up where I can individual things that jump out. When you are really sensitive, you have a lot of sensitivity. So, you know, the smells, you can't go into certain shops or down certain aisles of the supermarket. My nose used to bleed with particular perfume. Someone would be, you know, or those deodorizers that, you know, people have in their house or in public toilets and things like that. I mean, I was so sensitive. The reason I was is because my aura detached from here. People with a lot of sensitivities, there's a few things that could be. So we'll go through a few of them because I'm seeing more and more sensitivities. So, you know, there's probably quite a few of you that have that. I've just seen, how do you close the holes in the aura? You basically, you can do, so I'm jumping around a bit, but I've just seen, how do you close holes in the aura? You can do little circles like on the chakra, but I feel, because I can feel them, I knit them together. I literally am just doing that. So it's like I'm bringing the edges of the hole together and sort of imagining, so almost like plaiting them together or pulling them together, weaving them together. And you just do that a few times, and you know, you can retest, or if you don't know how to test or you can't feel, just see how you go. But going back to the aura, right? This is your higher soul heart, your thymus. If you draw figure eights at this point in the chest, it reattaches your aura back to that point. Now, those that generally have a lot of sensitivities anyway, it won't take, now for those that are worried that they'll lose their gifts, so to speak, it won't take those away. It will just give you more control, right? So by doing just a few eights, it doesn't take much at all, but for it to hold, you might need to do it, you know, every day for a week or so. But do it, those of you, and if it helps, let me know. Just send me a message. Or if you have more chronic things, I'd be looking at. So there's things called vortices, and if you've got, so for instance, people with really chronic allergies, and I've had 2 clients last week, in fact, and actually one of them, if you look on my Facebook page, you'll see the picture of the energies of that. So there's a picture before and a picture after through the biofield viewer, and that woman had a lot of allergies and you know, blocked ear, few other things, right? What changed that energy was working, there was a particular vortex. So a vortex also gives you these areas that energies come in and out of your field that you may not be able to deal with, right? Your system may not be able to cope with that amount of toxins or information that comes in. And so then it creates a stress response, and then it creates an immune response because, you know, triple warmer, spleen. So bear with me if you're not following. Triple warmer and spleen sort of together govern that immune system response. Okay, so if they're getting rattled, then your immunity can lower. Hence, allergies, because what are allergies? It's your body fighting itself, right? Inflammation and whatnot. Does that make sense? I hope that, I'm just going to check, make sure everyone's still with me. I never knew about the figure eights on the chest, but have been questioned why I do that often. Good. I used to wake up at 3 or 4 and feel rested and great. I would like to go back to that. Now, let me just see. How can I rest more earlier? I'm highly sensitive. Oh, that's Ella Marie. How can I rest more? Let me just, I used to wake up at 3 or 4 and feel rested and great. Okay. I would like to go back to that. How can I rest more earlier? I'm highly sensitive. Okay. I would recommend, so actually all of the things that we've talked about, so that's a beautiful question. Earthing, if you're not earthing well, then you'll have problems with inflammation and sleep. Your body will be in stress. So you will have the things that we've talked about, triple warmer spleen, dancing, not in sync, right? So by doing those little exercises, spooning the feet, making sure your polarity is good, so you can go back and watch the replay if you missed that. Triple warmer smoothie. We can also do neurovascular, the main neurovasculars. So I'll show you that, and I show that all the time. So it makes sense about the food allergies, how to resolve the vortex. Okay, yeah, I've jumped around a bit. The vortex is a bit deeper. Just thinking, go and have a look in the archives on this page if you're on Rhombus Healing Arts of the videos, and just look to see for the vortex one, because I was scanning and teaching about that. It's a bit more in depth than we can do here. They're really simple to sort out, but it won't make sense if I just give you that little bit. So just being aware that there are all of these other energies that weave and interrelate with each other. So it's never just one thing. Like, it's not saying, oh, it's well, it's all to do with the aura, yeah? But what exactly is going on? And, Aditi's things, if she does those energies, make sure she's earthed, her polarities are good, triple warmer is being taken care of, her crossovers, that might be enough to take the edge off some of it. But if you've got chronic health, obviously first aid, if you need an operation, so if you need higher energy understanding, then first aid is just band-aiding it, yeah? What I'm giving you can assist you, but if you've got chronic health, it's not going to take it away. So I just need to let you know that. But these are the energies that are involved. But of course, there are other layers. So how do we, I'm just looking at the whiteboard, how I write up the energies, it's literally like, physics or something, because we're going through every system and seeing what's going on with every system and how they interrelate and are working together and looking at all of it. So we're not just going in and looking at one piece, because we need the body, mind, spirit, right? It's the whole system. So I'm giving you like the first aid, the little bits and pieces that you can do that will help you through and give you a little bit more understanding, but it's not going to make it go away if it's chronic health. But those crossovers, if you get your systems crossing over, it will help you. It will help you. And then if you do go to the doctors or for other work with somebody else, then, it will help you. Okay. So I've had so much Kundalini and inspiration surging through me lately. It's wonderful for my business, but I want more rest. I appreciate these tips. You want more rest. Okay. Good luck with that if Kundalini is surging. Okay, I'm going to address that because it's slightly different topic, but it's one that I love. When the energies are surging or when you're getting these changes in your system, we need to surrender to the body and what the body needs. Right? We need to surrender. So on it, the other side of that is if your body is surging with these energies, again, make sure you're grounded, because there's an electric system that's in our, literally one of the energies we work with is called the electrics. And if you are, so this might sound a bit out there, but for those of you that happens to you, you'll understand. If you're using a lot of technology and it keeps blowing out, or the lights keep blowing, or you keep, it feels like you're breaking technology all the time. Your phone or your computer won't work, or things like that. Your electrics might need some help. That's not something I can teach you here, but I'm just raising your awareness, because maybe by planting the seed, something else might come into you to show you, okay, yes, I need some help with my electrics, right? Okay, the other thing is keep your minerals up, because when we're surging with or raising in our frequency, i.e. Kundalini, right, activation or rising, our minerals are depleted because of the amount of electricity and the amount of energy that's surging through our systems. And we need water. So I took Barocca. For those of you in Australia, it's a vitamin B sort of, it's not really a tablet, but you put it in water. It's got all the different B complex vitamins and whatnot, because that's for the nervous system, but also your minerals. I used to have pink salt or grey salt, Himalayan, the pure Himalayan salt, for the minerals, because the pink one had 86 minerals in it. So we're needing to keep up our minerals. Again, why? Because we've got a ground and earth. We're electrical systems, okay? So for those of you that are going through that, really look at, you can look at your diet, but the thing is that when I say she, that Shakti energy starts to come in, build a relationship with her. See, I use metaphor and whatnot to be able to deal with the energies that are coming in, because she will tell you what she wants. If you link to that energy, which I call she because it's Shakti, it's the life force, it's the sacred sexual energy, right? That Kundalini energy. She will steer you, and it will get to a point where you eat something and you'll feel sick because you haven't listened to her. She will tell you what she needs. Sometimes she will want potatoes and potato chips and carbs, bread and cheese. Sometimes she'll want you to go raw and juice. Sometimes you won't be able to eat anything, and you will have to go through how to then maintain your nutrition, because everything you put in your mouth, you feel like you want to throw up. So there are all these different stages of development in that process. And my best advice to you is to listen to her, listen to that energy, listen with the ear of the heart. It's really that subtle energy, and the more that you do that, by the time you've actually come through that Kundalini activation, then you'll have those skills, because then you have to work through your embodiment of the next levels, which are beyond the Kundalini, yeah? And so that's a whole nother story. We can talk about that another time. So Ella said, drink spring water. Yeah. Thinking a lot about, oh, this is the confirmation. So you're listening. Great, great. So if you're thinking a lot about something, and it starts to show up in your field, don't think about it anymore, just do it, right? That's how I work. If it comes up twice in my field, I just say thank you, and it doesn't need to come up again, because you're listening, right? You just start listening to your energies, your body. It is you, right? But we're too busy listening out here, right? We're too busy. It's gaining. Somebody said earlier, how do I bring in my gifts? This is how you bring them in, because they're already there. We're just listening, practicing. It's about practicing. So the more we do the practice, the more information we get, and that's how you bring in your gifts, right? So, oh, this makes sense. She's telling to keep going. She's telling me a huge breakthrough is coming. Yeah, she is it. And when she breaks through, boy, because it's not, do you know that it doesn't just go straight up, right? Okay, so yeah, this is cool. I haven't talked about this for a while. So just let me read the rest of this message. My lower self just wants to tap out, but my higher self, I got this. Longer sleep will come eventually, but I got some things to do now. Yeah, if you're in that energy of surges, just go with it. You got to go with it, because there will come a time where you're integrating it all, and even beyond, when you've had your full activation and complete in that way, then when you're bringing your higher self in, so to speak, there's a whole nother ball game there, right? A whole nother ball game. And what you have been doing will be totally contradicted. It's just very different. So there's different energies. When those different energies come in, your body needs different fuel. So don't get caught up on, there's times when your body will need pure, clean, I'm not going to say you have to be a vegetarian or whatever, but your body will tell you what it needs. And if you listen, it will be getting what it needs. But then if it starts to go through the carbs stuff, that's a different energy coming in. And your physical body needs the carbs and sometimes it will be sugars and whatnot. And you'll go, why am I craving? Like, I've just been on this, green and raw and, juicing and all this stuff. And now I'm, this coming in. Listen to your body, because those of you that know me and my students, there were times when I was eating bread, cheese, and potato in some form every day. I needed it. And these are at very high levels of activation beyond Kundalini, right? This is where I was bringing in, surges of the gamma stuff, because the body needed that fuel. So you can't worry about, I'm putting on weight or I'm losing weight. You will lose weight. You will put on weight. Your body will be doing crazy, amazing things, and you won't know what's going on. Surrender, listen, and allow it to do what it needs to, because your mind needs to be out of the way for it to work and move through without creating too much hassle for you. So anyway, I'll leave it at that unless you've got any other questions. Dahlia, what's your question? You asked that so beautifully and politely. What's your question? Let me just scan through these while I wait. How long have we been going? I don't know. About an hour. Oh no, about an hour 45. Okay. So Tammy with a Y has said, I'm such an empathic person. Oh, okay. So let me read the rest of the question. I so appreciate all of this. I'm grateful to have all the messages starting in a new week for the month of December. Okay. Now, just on that, so I'm picking that up while I wait for the question. As we raise in our frequency, as we raise in our awareness, our ascension, our consciousness, however you want to label it, what happens is we get more sensitive. So this is a wonderful thing. If we can change the way we think about our sensitivities, because they have to come in somehow. And when things open up and start working in different ways, of course we can feel more, we can smell more, we can taste more, we can feel more, we can see more, we can, there's all these, hear more. And, if you're hearing more and it's annoying you, check in on that. Because I used to say that hearing the sounds of the spheres, the sounds of the universe, is literally like hearing, the beloved or God or, whatever you call that, universal intelligence. And you're saying, I'm busy. Can you be quiet? Right? What's coming into you or coming in for you is precious. And yes, it might mess up your general routine, but that's the whole idea, right? It's the whole idea, because you're moving forward in new ways of knowing and understanding. Okay, so Dahlia has said, what have you said? You've said, I let go, hang on, let me read this. I let go of a land that I wanted to keep following the advice of guides. Wanted to keep following the advice of guides, intuitives. However, it doesn't feel good. The warrior in me wanted to fight back and keep it. However, the spiritual side was like, let it go. There is a better land. Okay, so where's the question in that? Are you saying you're querying whether you should have kept the land? Or I let go of a land that I wanted to keep, following the advice of guides, intuitives. Okay. However, it doesn't feel good. Oh, okay. There you go. There's your answer. If you notice, I don't tell you what to do. I do not tell you what to do. I share information that is there for you to do if you want to, but we need to empower ourselves to be able to hear and make and have tools that can assist us to make our own decisions and our own choices. Okay. So this is a lesson for you, because you're saying, I feel it, like it doesn't feel good. The warrior in me wanted to fight back to keep it. Okay, this is an interesting statement. The warrior in me wanted to fight back to keep it. However, the spiritual side was like, let it go. Now, I get what you're saying, but I'm just going to throw this in there, because what if they were the same and it's the spiritual warrior? To become the warrior is to be able to endure what some of the others have been talking about, that Kundalini experience or that awakening and ascension. We need to be able to endure the physical and the sensory things that come in to be able to get to the next levels. Okay. So yes, we don't grasp, we don't hold on to things for dear life. Sometimes it is about surrendering, but maybe this is your lesson, or your raising your awareness to listening to yourself deeper. because it's you know, guides and intuitives and whatnot are great, right? External ones. But when you learn to go inside and you practice listening for yourself. Now, there are different levels of that. So if you're starting out, if you're just really coming into realizing there's so much more to this world than you ever realized, then maybe you're going to have less discernment on which way to go. But feeling it and seeing what you're pulled towards can help. Surrendering at a higher level, like, well, at any level, but at another level, I'll teach you the milk. I'll teach you milk, right? I live by milk, right? And I'll explain it. So no matter where you're at, you can use this milk metaphor. So it's a yogic, ancient yogic teaching, and I've taught my daughters, and I remind them and they remind me. So the metaphor is this, and then we can look at how we can use it. When you're thirsty, so you just say you're in the desert and you're really thirsty, or you're in Perth and it's really humid and hot and you're thirsty, like now. I'm thirsty. Oh, look, water. Thank you. Right. So you're thirsty and you're like, I'm thirsty. The universe will bring you water. If you're thirsty and you go, I need water now, give me water, you know, God, beloved universe, highest consciousness, supreme source consciousness, whatever you call it, give me water, right? You're going to get blood. When you're grasping, when you're demanding, when you're greedy and asking, yeah, you're going to get blood. When you're thirsty and you would like some water and you make that placement, you will get water. Now, if you surrender to know that you are thirsty, but the universe is going to provide and you don't even have to ask, you will get milk. And the reason why you get milk is because it's the highest nutrition. So my daughter was a smart ass and she said, yeah, but I'm vegan. And I said, well, bloody coconut milk then. Or almond milk or soy milk or whatever, right? But the point of the metaphor is that you're going to get the highest nutrition, the highest sustenance for you. So this is a metaphor that we can use in life to remind us, because these metaphors, these ancient metaphors are there. They're simple so that we can just grab them. And some of you have heard me in real time use some of these, you know, earlier in the year, because it's practice and we're practicing new behaviors, new patterns of behavior. So if we're used to always asking and placing intention, there's nothing wrong with that. You'll get water. But when you're ready to go to the next level and you're ready to surrender and just know, you don't need to do anything. You are just, you're not even being. I talk about doing, being, and R-ing. R-ing is outside of the mind. It can't comprehend it. But you are that wavelength. You're R-ing. Right? So there is no thing that you want or need. It just is all there. Now, a lot of you won't be there yet, and it's okay. There's no judgment. It's like just development. So let's go to the water. How can you use that? It's about grasping. You know, if we're saying, I'm thirsty, so I need water. You must bring me water. So how does that translate to your meditations or your prayers or whatever? You're saying, I don't have enough money. Beloved, bring me money. Okay? So you may get it, but you'll get it as blood. Now, blood, the payment for blood is more blood. So contemplate that as a metaphor. When you're grasping and on a lower consciousness of I want and need and must have and, I deserve, all of those sorts of things, you'll get blood. Now, blood will still sustain you. It's still going to quench your thirst, but it's not as refined as water or the milk. Does that make sense? Is that helpful? Thirsty heart reference to your initial poem. Ah, yes. So those of you that weren't here, the poem that I started with, thanks, Lee. Okay, this is a Rumi poem, and it's the one that I started with. Be thirsty heart, seek forever without a rest. Let this soundless longing hidden deep inside you be the source of every word you say. Thanks, Lee. Good pickup. Hey. So, when you find yourself, so this is how I use it, and I don't need to use it anymore. I literally, I've been questioned over years why I don't, play lotto or ask for finances or abundance and things like that, is because the gold is in the trees, right? The wealth and the abundance is all around, and the only thing that's stopping you from it being right there is how you see and how you view, and the veils that prevent you from literally perceiving what's already there. Okay, so sometimes that can be difficult to sit with when you feel compressed, right? Constricted. When you feel the pressure of the external world coming for you, or it feels like it's coming at you, So for instance, you've got bills to pay, but you don't have the cash, right? So there are ways in the water area, so in that sort of middle area, where you can make placement. The reason why or how that placement can manifest and come in requires magnetic force. So back to the magnetics again. It comes back to how your field, your aura, your biofield, how much magnetism it has to pull in or push out what you need, what you don't need. So at more advanced levels, that just happens. So you don't need to ask for anything. Everything is, right? Coming back down to, okay, you're making placement. You're making your placement of intention that you want to go that way. And these are the things that, would assist that. But you're making the placement knowing that all the things that will assist that will come with that main placement. So that's about the water. So you make your placement. So most people are being taught about that. Yeah. If you go to, about manifesting and what's the other word people use? Because I don't usually use those words because it's like about the magnetism. It's about your magnetic force. And when you have that strong, what does it do? It pulls in and it repels like a magnet, right? So there's so much more to that, and it's probably a conversation for another time, but let me just see. I just wanted to leave you with milk, because if Dahlia's saying almond milk, yeah. So when you're wanting something, I can remember I was at an expo And this wasn't that long ago. It was at the beginning of the year. And it cost an absolute fortune to be part of. And at one point I was with somebody, and I said to her, I'll just make placement of, I'll just manifest, right, clients. And I stopped in my tracks because that would give me water. I can manifest, like people that know me, it's like a boom, 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 right? I can manifest. But if you looked at my life, I'm not manifesting stuff. I'm not manifesting material stuff. What I manifest is experiences. I manifest experiences. What do I want to experience in the world? That's what I manifest. Because the rest is, I was going to say blood. It's not really. So when I realized that, I went, I want milk. Like I'm open to the milk, to the highest sustenance that I'm at this expo to receive. And I left it at that. And how everything played out was beyond what I could have made the placement on, because when we learn that by surrendering in that way, giving it up really to those that know more than us, better than us, right? We can't actually even comprehend what that would have looked like. So if I was asking, I would have got water, right? You're thirsty, you ask for water. But if you surrender, you will get far more than just quenching your thirst. Does that make sense? You get more sustenance, more nutrients. So what that looked like for me was, I didn't just get clients, I got to share in a way that fed my soul inside. Like I can even feel that when I say it. I made connections, I met people, we exchanged information like we are today, which I knew would change their life. That's milk, right? That's milk. Asking for more clients, like, oh yeah, bring more clients so I make some money so I can pay my, my bill. That almost feels like blood to me. It's dense anyway. So I hope that you can use that in your life, because it's been a precious gift to me and my family, and a very simple one that, if you have friends or family that you want to share that with, and you hear them grasping for something, you can just say, well, do you want water or do you want milk? Or you could just walk past and say milk. That's what my daughter does to me. Every now and then she'll walk past. Or I'll say to her, she's going for all these job interviews, apprenticeships and whatnot, really like thousands and thousands of people. And I said to her to surrender to them. Just go to these things and surrender to the outcome, because that's the milk. So when you surrender to the outcome, your stress response lets go. You don't have the constrictions in your energy. You start to illuminate. You have vitality. Other people feel the vitality. Other people feel the resonance and are attracted to you or what you do. It's not about you, really. It's about what you're here to do, right? So I've talked about that before, so those that have heard it before, well, I'm not going to apologize, because it's always good to hear it again. And by me sharing that again, it's a reminder to me too, because every time, every moment, I'm learning as well. That's the practice. Never, ever go into anything thinking right? Be open. Be open to what else is there? What if? What else? So even tonight, I've been reminded of particular things, and I've gone, and even how I felt some of you. I was like, okay, that's different, or that's right. Constantly learning, constantly expanding and contracting, constantly evolving. So I think I'll leave it there because we've been going for a couple of hours by the sounds of things. Do you want me to finish on a card? So I started on a, I'll finish on a card. I'll do a card for you all. Thank you, all of you who have not been here before. I'm really chuffed that you decided to spend some time with us because, you know, you really don't know what on earth we do. So I really appreciate it. And yeah, pop in next week if you like, and see what we come up with next week. But yeah, again, if any of this was helpful, you know, share it to your page even so that you can find it again easily, or tag a friend or whatever. If you want a deeper conversation or reading about your own stuff, you can contact me. Just thinking, next year, so if you're in Perth, actually I'm going to be traveling. Nothing's in stone yet because it's milk. I'm surrendering to the process, but I've been told to share more widely. And so Perth, we will have in February some workshops if you want to come in person. So let's read what's coming up. Oh, okay. So we've got care. These are amazing. I'll just let you know where these are from. The Sacred Vision Oracle cards. You see that? Okay. So interesting number 2. So this card, it's called Care. So I'll read you. Actually, I might read it out of the book because it's quite hard to read. So I'll show you the picture, but I'm going to read it out of the book so that I can see it better. Because white on black is not great to read. All right. So this is the image. Is that good to look at? Yeah. Okay. So it's number 12. Just blew myself away. All right. It's the echoes of the heart. So it's care, the echoes of the heart. And I'm just going to read it. So wrap an invisible cloak of love around you and share your kind words with all. Take care in the words that you speak and choose, for they build your body and your life form. Feel the gentle wind that works your words of love to shape your life into beauty. All cultures and faiths speak about angels, messengers, guiding spirits, all subservient to the Creator. These voices are heard in your thoughts, but manifest most profoundly in your heart. So the spirit of the card is the warriors sing and celebrate the echoes of the heart, the memories of the past or loves in their heart. Their bodies are supple as a bow, and each voice sings for their fellow warriors. The feather in their hair and the butterfly signify their journey towards enlightenment. As a drumbeat guides their steps, all wear blankets symbolizing this ancient craft, the weaving of a loving life. All their voices clamor for spirit. One warrior patiently listens to the echoes of his heart. Now tell me that doesn't beautifully wrap up everything we've spoken about tonight. So those of you that weren't with us the whole time, literally, we talked about all of those things, spirit, the heart, listening with the ear of the heart, subservient to the Creator, surrendering, thoughts manifesting, all of those things. So what a beautiful card to finish on. So thank you. The recording will be on the page if you want to go back and look at it or share it or ask me anything. Yeah, and if not, I will see some of you next week. And for those that are new, thank you for popping in, and you're welcome anytime. And for those of you that are here every week, pretty much, I appreciate you beyond what I can say, because really without all of you, this can't happen, because I can't do it on my own, you know. By you asking the questions, we all get to find out a little bit more about ourselves and how we flow. So I really do appreciate you. So blessings to you all.